You forget the back of me the other day on that top finally. That's really quick. That was great. You know, I can't come in second time from the home. I'm gonna go on accident. There we go. The bells. I agree.
That's Jeff's.
Wow, that's quite fast. But we don't have a microphone today. You guys hear me in the back? Yeah. I ran. George up front here can't hear me, so I actually went ahead and rang the bell because we may not have enough seats, so hopefully we can sit down so we'll know where they can sit. And there is some seats up front in case anybody needs anything here. So we're calling to order the January 17th meeting. We haven't seen y'all since last year. Y'all look great. I am Stephen Hammers, the president of the Rotary Club this year. I'm so excited. Oh, you all make me feel so welcome. Somebody asked me a few minutes ago, are you going to be counting down the time of your presidency? I said, no, I'm actually enjoying it. So it's very, very enjoyable. It's an awesome opportunity. We're going to start off with Bob Thompson is the invocation, and Alan Treadway is the pledge and four-way test.
Bow your heads, please. Gracious and loving Creator, gather here today at the start of a new year, hearts full of gratitude for the opportunity to serve others through Rotary. Thank you for the gift of fellowship, for bringing us together as a community of diverse minds and shared purpose. Guide our discussions today throughout the year so that our decisions may reflect wisdom, compassion, and a commitment to service above self. And we always strive to be instruments of peace, justice, and goodwill in the world. Bless our efforts to make a difference in our communities and beyond. Give us strength and perseverance to overcome challenges, creativity to find new solutions, and humility to celebrate and contribute to all. May our works inspire hope, uplift the lives of others, and bring us closer to the vision of a better and more inclusive world. We ask for your blessings upon this meeting, our members, and all those who seek to serve. Amen. And now, join me in the pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. Number one.
Is it the truth?
Number two.
Is it better, sir?
Number four.
Will it be better for all concerned?
You don't like that digital flag? That was awesome. Hey, Gordon. All right, we're going to introduce. And those of you who don't have seats, we've got a few up front here. All right, Jennifer, secretary. Hey, Jennifer, you ready? Yeah, come on up. All right.
Yes, right. So, I didn't say top here Enroll on a July to June, calendar year. Member of the board is the upcoming president after President Hammer, I'll be, and then Jennifer Shepherd will be. So we try to welcome everybody. I'm sure President Hammer said you be using me to start moving the market. So this is a ton of fun just watching everybody. So thank you for coming. So the way I'm going to do it today, we have so many. Look at this. Okay. I'm going to call on the Rotarian that's hosting the guests, and if you would just stand and introduce your guests, you walking around, I think that'll work best. So let's start with Rod.
Jamie, stand up. Jamie Edwards. Jamie has a company. He's a physical therapist over here in the Brentwood shopping area called Get Better Fitness. And he's helped me get my knee rehab since my replacement. So I'm very appreciative of him. But more importantly, he was a sponsor of our golf tournament with, he was a whole sponsor. So thank you, Jamie.
Sheila.
I think I can yell enough. I don't have any kids, so you think I lost that. But anyway, this is Drea Canigliera, and she's with, thank you. And she's with Blood Assurance, and Blood Assurance will be working with us at our next Pancake Day for a blood draw. So thank you.
Next one on my list is one that I'm going to take credit for his guest, so he didn't just stand up. Let's see, Laura.
I have two guests here today that have approached us via our website, Williamson. Ashley Burnett is with the Heritage Brentwood and is looking for ways to connect more with the community. And so if you want to learn more about our organization, so we're really glad to meet her. And Ali Al-Mirari, did I get it right? Al-Mirari, I'll do my best. He was a Rotaract member in Lebanon in the Mediterranean. So very large 9-country district, amazing. But he's a Rotaract member and wanted to get plugged in his community. His wife is from here, and he's been in our area for 5 months now. So help make him feel welcome.
Yes, it's Paul Kaharski. You may know him as a sports captain. Was on the zone, now on the fan. The game. And he has a freshman at Ravenwood with Brentwood. So thank you.
Oh. VP Brad Law teachers and real estate, healthcare real estate. But you may have seen him on the side. Black and white, all the big football games, all right, from local high school. So this is the one called All the Right Shot.
All the Rotarians that are leadership Brentwood alumni, raise your hand and make yourself notice. Wow, right? That's a lot of it. So I'm in the current leadership class, and I brought some of our classmates today that I'm so happy to have them. We have Brittany Fryman. She's with Chartwell. Stand up. She's with Chartwell. Amazing. Everybody make her feel welcome. Catherine Starr. She's with Williamson Health, right? Right. Right? Okay. Let's thank Ashawn for bringing her to us. That's you. And we have Claudia Buchanan. She's with Waterpoint, so she is our new Jordan. So let's make her feel very good. Rest of the guests are going to be introduced by Curry. When Curry's finished, if you miss anyone, let us know, and we'll back up. You don't need to. Lynn, what do you all know this? Many of you know Lynn Tucker. She's with Williamson Inc. and she has
headed up the Leadership Brentwood program for many years, Youth Leadership Brentwood and the Young Adult, whatever it's called. Anyway, Lynn's basically a celebrity in Brentwood. Got it? All right, Kurt, it's on you.
Hurry's gonna introduce the police officer. Oh, when you talk, okay, we'll do that here in a minute. Happy folks now. Okay, Sean.
I can start with myself first. I think first of all, I'm happy and thankful that we live in Williamson County and Brentwood. And thankful to the law enforcement officers for keeping it safe. We don't have to look over our shoulder all the time. The people who lived in such places will know. So thank you very much. Who is next?
I'll go do next. I got a nice Christmas present. I opened the package and it said Grandpa established 2025, so.
I'm putting in five. I've got five quick things. First of all, glad to be back with everybody after a long absence. It's great to see everybody. Secondly, thank you to all the guests for being here. It makes for a great room. Third, I'm glad to see Jeff Hughes here. Nice to see you, Jeff. Fourth, Larry Kane did an amazing job in pulling all of this together. You guys have no idea the stress that he went through. There was a fifth thing, but I put in $5, so I'm over.
Just thrilled to be back among friendly faces. Great to see all of y'all.
See, Chief Watson, Chief, you just here. He's back there, so thank you all for being here and your service to this community for the years. And anybody after the meeting, I've got a petition here to run for commission again. I'm gonna serve our community, hopefully for you.
Website, there's a lot of things that have happened on our website in the last couple of weeks. Please visit regularly. We've got RILA application open, we've got our scholarship applications open, we've got signups and waivers for the Little Perfect cleanup, which is next week, which you're gonna hear a little bit more about today. Please get familiar with the website. It is BrentwoodRotary.org. BrentwoodRotary.org. And I put the other bucket because our family had a pretty tragic loss this past week. And it's related to depression. And if any of you are in this room are struggling, don't think your life, no reason. Because there are plenty of others in this room who love you and who want to partner with you. So pray for our families. A lot going on. I love you guys.
But I do want to tell you about my something that as the ring girl in the Tyson fight, named Sydney Thomas, and she doesn't wear enough clothes. She's all at a million followers on Instagram. She has a thing going and saying right now that's really fun on the internet. And the greatest thing to know about Cindy is she's super smart, almost perfect on the ACT. She's super sweet. She lost her mom a year and a half ago. And it's just cool to see her be famous. Also, so that's $10 for you.
I put $1 in there, not to say I'm thankful for Karen Al Preston late that Monday, changed the weather, got sick, got the flu, went to tear down, got antibiotics, and knocked up the flu out. I made it to work on Friday, so I'm happy. Yeah. Yes. Okay. Microphone. Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to let you guys know we had some challenges through Christmas. My son and I traveled to Columbus, Ohio, and watched Tennessee. I don't support you. I was there. Bells. That's all. All right. Patrick's got an outfit. Thank you. Welcome 2025 and welcome to Walmart next weekend. So it's right upon us. Many of you have signed up, just a few things. It's the same setup as normal at the library, 8 o'clock. If you're helping me with registration and check-in, 7:30 quarter late, you can lead a section. That's even better. We have a great partnership that we built with the Harvard Conservancy. They've been a part of this event for many years, but we've really ramped that up. They've helped us with a lot of good publicity. I want to also call out Jim Ruane, who has gotten us a live interview on Tuesday morning with Channel 4. So we're going to have hopefully some good media coverage this year, in addition to our normal media partners, your Williamson Herald, Williamson Source, Southern Exposure, our friends at the City of Brentwood, always helpful. Williamson Sheriff's Office, Chief, thank you for the books to get everything out of there into the landfill where it belongs. CJ Evans coming up with brand new, right off the press, map. So what's happened in the last, I don't know, 15 years of Brentwood is now on here from the maps that I've been carrying around and I've been for the last 6 years. So thank you, Jay. Again, the city comes with us. We are trying to, as you all know, it's always a herding cats on that morning. And so we're trying to bring some 19th century technology to our process. So we have, thanks to Laura and some other folks, access to the website. You can sign up there. You can also fill out a participation form there. We will still be using paper this year. My goal outgoing is to get this thing as automated as possible, which makes check-in a lot easier. This is again part of the partnership with Harvard Conservancy, helping us kind of bring this into the between. It is one of our signature events. This is the 20th annual. So for you guests that want to come get a baptism to what Rotary is all about, there's no better way than to see hopefully 150, 200 people all gathering together to clean up 10 miles of the little carpet that runs through the city of Brentwood. So anyway, if you have any questions, reach out to me, either my email, my name's all over the place out there. Text me. If you do find people who have trouble with the link or can't get something, direct them to me. I'll make sure they get plugged in and get everything signed up well. I expect to see some buzz this week. Obviously, we missed a week, and it's a little earlier than it has been the last couple of years, being January 25th. But again, I appreciate all of you all. If you have any questions, there are sign-up sheets on the table. If you sign up, you will get an email from me early next week with kind of a layout. Many of you have done it before, so you can disregard most of that. But if you haven't done it before, it'll kind of tell you what to expect. They donuts, all the stuff, kids run everywhere. It'll be a little crazy. We do have this year, thanks to Jay Evans, both rooms at the library. So hopefully, if we do have a crowd, we'll be able to spread out a little bit more and not have half the folks out in the parking lot ready to go. I'm trying to do the welcome tonight. So anyway, any questions for me as a part of this?
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Patrick. Really appreciate that. One last announcement, John Helms has that.
Yeah, just announcing that we set the date for San Diego. It's going to be April 12th for High School. We're going to do it with car
cars for kids, car sharing. Last year. But also it makes the deal up, we're gonna have one insurance. So it should be a good time, we're on the calendar, you will at some point, we'll probably get in touch about volunteering. Thanks.
Thank you. Last year was a really great time. It's one of the biggest banquets we've had in a while. So please try to come, April 12th, it's gonna be fantastic. I've got some letters from recipients, but I'm gonna do that next week when we have a microphone. So without further ado, Curry, you wanna come up and introduce all of our special guests?
Thank you, Stephen. All of you that put money in till this week, see Jeff afterwards, and you have basically Scott and Franklin, and he'll give you a get out of jail free card. That's not right. I'll start off by saying that the city of Brentwood. Can you hear me in the back okay? City of Brentwood was incorporated in 1969. In 1971, the police department was formed with Howard Buttrey as our first chief of police, who's no longer with us. But in the 54 years of its incorporation into the police department, they have had 4 chiefs of police. It's been Howard, and then we have Ricky Watson, who's over here, Chief Watson. Jeff Hughes, who's going to be our speaker, was the next chief of police. And then Richard Hickey, who was in the back of the room. We've got our present chief of police, who is going to retire next month. Yes, sir. That his replacement is going to be Jim Colburn. So we're really pleased to have gone through 54 years of wonderful chiefs of police, very few problems, who have really taken care of our city, and we're really proud of it. So Chief Hughes began his career with the Fairview Police Department in 1983, and he served as a dispatcher before becoming a public officer in 1984. Chief Hughes joined the Brentwood Police Department in February of '86 and served more than 36 years, retiring in 2022. And you still look at why you're here. He was only the 3rd chief of police in the history of Brentwood and served for 10 years in that role. Sheriff Hughes was appointed by the Williamson County Board of Commissioners to serve as the active sheriff effective March 12, 2024, after winning the Republican primary for sheriff's position. He is running unopposed as hopefully the next sheriff. Jeff completed his undergrad degree at Middle Tennessee State University, majoring in criminal justice and minoring in psychology. He also is a graduate of Southeastern Command and Leadership Academy at the University of Tennessee in Chattanooga. Jeff is a member of the Tennessee Sheriff Association, the past president of the Tennessee Association of Chiefs of Police. He is a lifetime member of the Maris Heathcock Fraternal Order of Police, a Brentwood known member of the Rotary Club. So I welcome Jeff. I thought I was going to get roasted. That's nicer than I expected. So, thank you, Curry. I really appreciate that. Really, the only reason I'm here today is, and I was supposed to be here last week, is Larry King told me that they wanted the defending cornhole champion back. And so that's how he got me here. And then the Lord, I'm here speaking, right? So I do want to say I want all of y'all in this room to know, 40-year law enforcement career, and I'm standing up here today in front of you because of that man right there, Mickey Watson. He give all the credit to him. He kind of took me under his wing early on and taught me a lot about how to lead an organization, how to treat people, how to build relationships in the community, and yes, it paid off. But here we are. Right? Thank you, Chief. I had a couple of people reach out to me, can't be here, and they're watching on Zoom. My brother Michael Barrett, who tricked everybody into coming under the pretense that he would be here, and he can't get out of the store. And Sarah Johnson is driving back from somewhere, and I told him I'd give him a shout out. So hope y'all are watching. Hope you can hear. I don't have a lot of spare time. It's been a very, very challenging. I guess I'm in my 10th month, I believe it is. So I'm going to apologize up front because I thought last week when the meeting was postponed due to the weather that I got a whole week to prepare and do a slideshow and all that. So last night at about 11 o'clock, I was trying to throw some last minute, right? And this has been a really, really busy week in the sheriff's office for a lot of different reasons, and I'll talk about that a little bit. So bottom line is I'm winging it, okay? So that's what I do best, I think, and I want to leave time for questions, but I want to touch on a lot of things. There's so much. When you say drinking out of a fire hose, I mean, that's an understatement. It's the life I've been living since March of this year. So I did win the Republican primary, and I did run in the general election in August unopposed. And so, unfortunately, I have to run again next year, so 2026. And I hate campaigning. I hate politicking. I hate raising money. I hate every aspect of that. I just want to run the sheriff's office. That's what I know how to do. That's what I'm good at. Developing people, serving, public service. That's what I know. But unfortunately, the sheriff's office comes with politics. And so I had to endure that. Anyone in the room that's done it knows how horrible it is. Everybody ought to try it once. But my advice to you is if you're retired like I was for 2 years, living life large on the farm and the phone rings, don't answer. Somebody is trying to drag you back into the arena. And when they start playing on your ego and they start enticing you about, all of the great things that can be done and so forth and so on, you start to buy into it. And lo and behold, here I am again. So back in the arena, and I do plan to run again next year if things continue like they are, health and all things considered. I don't want to work forever, but I think that I owe it to the citizens of Williamson County to at least give them 5 or 6 years at the minimum, because I think it would be naive to think that I could make a difference in such a short period of time, finishing out this unexpired term. Dusty Rhodes stepped down midway through his term, and he had put in, I want to say 46 years, and he was just done. He had all he could stand. He was ready to quit. And he recognized that. He stepped down, and that's what opened the door and provided him with this opportunity. So people say, well, what's the difference between being the sheriff and being the police chief? Aside from politics, and specifically as it relates to the city of Brentwood, size. I mean, I went from about 86 to 90 people to almost 350. 10 months in, I still haven't met everybody in my organization, although I've made a very concentrated effort to do that. It's difficult. And then remember their names? Forget it. I do the best I can. So that's obvious, right? But the main difference between the sheriff's office and any municipality, any police department, for those of y'all that don't know, is we run the jail for Williamson County. We house all of the prisoners for all the municipalities in Williamson County. Nobody else has a jail but the sheriff's office. Okay? We provide school resource officers for every school in Williamson County, public school, including the Franklin Special School District. That responsibility is on us. That's county funding. So even these schools that are in Brentwood High School, whatever, SROs are ours. We provide the security at all of the courthouses. That all falls under the purview of the sheriff. So court security is all mine. Civil process. We're the only agency in the county, the only entity that serves civil process. And on that note, has anybody in this room, I have, has anybody in this room received a phone call saying you missed jury duty? Many of y'all have texted me.
Yeah.
We will never ask you for money over the phone. Okay, it's a scam. It's a scam. And they will call, they will spoof our number. So it will be a Williamson County number, a legitimate number. And I've heard they have radio traffic playing in the background. They will use real names of people that are employed by the Williamson County Sheriff's Office. And they will try to get you, they'll try to solicit you to resolve your matter by sending them cash or going to a Walgreens or a CVS and getting Bitcoins and those sorts of things. Don't do it. Don't do it. Call the sheriff's office, call me. And 99% of the time it's going to be a scam because we're not going to ask you for money over the phone. We're never going to do that. Okay. Spread that word. Spread that word. That's a huge prevalent scam that's been going around. There are probably some other things, the differences, but we have concurrent jurisdiction with every municipality. So we answer calls in the unincorporated areas of Williamson County. Williamson County is a heck of a lot bigger than I even realized, and I'm a native. I mean, it's a big county. But we answer the calls in the unincorporated areas, but we have concurrent jurisdiction in the municipalities. So we work closely with Brentwood Police, Franklin Police, Spring Hill, Nolensville, so forth and so on. Lots of challenges coming into the sheriff's office. When I stepped in the door, for a lot of different reasons, I kind of felt like I stepped back in time. Because you got to remember, I'm coming from what I considered a well-oiled machine. It was kind of had no cruise control. Everything was running really, really good. We had just built the new building, and life was good. And you know, now I'm in a building that's over 30 years old, nearly 35 years old, and we're adjacent with the jail. So my offices are connected to the jail right now. And immediately I inherited this Triple J project, the Jail, Juvenile Justice Center, and Sheriff's Office project, which had a price tag on it of about $325 million, which is obviously a lot of money and creates a lot of concern throughout the community when you think about taxpayer dollars. That's been going for years now. That's been in the process. They've already got plans. So I walk in the door and I'm just thrown into this project and more or less assuming it, if you will. Just recently, I believe it's a couple of commission meetings back now, they did finally approve $280 million. They authorized the mayor to go out and obtain bonds for up to $280 million to start the project of building the jail and the Juvenile Justice Center. The sheriff's offices were taken out of that from a funding standpoint. I mean, eventually it's got to go back in because we can't continue to live in the space we're living in. They're talking about demolishing that building. It'll become a parking lot. The jail will be adjacent to where the old jail is now. And it will be closer to Beasley Drive, if you know anything about that area down there. And ultimately, the sheriff's office will be closer to Century Court at 70, set pretty far off the road right now. So what's happening, it's a step-by-step process, is the way they've got this laid out. We occupy a huge warehouse on Beasley Drive that we house all of our special operations vehicles for aviation division is there. We have 2 helicopters and 1 Huey, okay? They're there. We've got an 18-wheeler, we've got a command center, we've got all of these things. It's a huge building. Well, that's where the site for the new juvenile justice center is supposed to go. So we've got to vacate that building before they can demo it and start the juvenile justice center. We are moving to the old recycling center, which was up above where the jail was. So that moved to the landfill. That building is it's been taken down to a skeleton, and they're retrofitting it to become the new warehouse for our special operations and aviation division. Once that's done, they will demo the building on Beasley, which is down there near the Public Safety Center. And that's when they start the construction of the Juvenile Justice Center. And they tell me that simultaneously, they'll start the jail project. So I got a little experience in building buildings. Not great at it, if you ask Richard Hickey and some of those folks, because we've had some problems in the existing building with heating and the gun range specifically. We had a few issues but it's still pretty dang nice considering where I'm sitting every day now. I can tell you I would trade them in a heartbeat. Where was I going? I don't know. Big Bird?
Building the jail.
Building the jail. So I got a little experience in building. Thank you, Tom. You pulled me out. So immediately started going around and touring jails around Tennessee. All right. And going to the jail conference in May. And just what I'm trying to do is make sure that we're building something that is fiscally responsible, that is not extravagant. People talk about, building a Taj Mahal for a jail. Bull. No. I don't care about the conditions. It sounds cold, but of the inmates. But we have to meet TCI standards, that's Tennessee Correctional Institute standards of care for the inmates. Okay, so to that extent, we've got to build it to standard. All right. But what I do care about is the men and women who are back there working 12-hour shifts, living in those same conditions with these inmates. And you can imagine the impact and the effect that has on you mentally. I mean, it's like working in a dungeon, okay? And you're not commingling with the best class of people, if you will. So historically, it's been hard to recruit and retain those people. And so to that extent, we have to consider the working conditions for them as well. But I want to value engineer that. I want to make sure that we're not spending any unnecessary money. I'm a taxpayer too, a native Williamson County. And so I want to have eyes on that project. That's what I feel like my responsibility is, coming into it late like I did. Currently, we have, I'm going to use rounded off numbers, about 450 beds in the jail. And we're only looking to build a jail facility with about 570 beds. Okay, so we're not trying to build an extravagantly more, substantially larger building than what we're already occupying. But you got to project out 30 years, right? And we don't want to underbuild it. We want to build, so we know the population's going up, right? Can't dispute that. Crime, it doesn't go down. Typically, we hope it stays, pretty flat, but continues to rise. And we want to keep the crime out of Williamson County. And the way we do that is we take a hard stance on crime, right? If you don't put people in jail and punish them for the crimes they do and hold them accountable, and you have a revolving door and these people beat you back home before you drop them off at the jail, then you're not, what's the deterrent? What's the deterrent? Williamson County is not that way. I'm here to tell you, we've got a good criminal justice system. Historically, it's been that way. It continues to be that way. And that in and of itself is deterrent. Okay? You can't see the staffing table up here. I'll read you some numbers off that I have here in front of me. So, you know, one of the things that I had a hard time finding out when I was campaigning is, you know, how many people we had. There were a lot of processes and things that they just didn't have in place to identify things that I wanted to know, you know, organizational charts, staffing tables, things that I've been used to. And I'm happy to say that out of I have a total of 341 authorized positions. And as of last week, we're only down 17 people in the whole organization. That's amazing. I'm told this time last year, they were down closer to 60. So there was a huge issue with recruitment and retention. And a lot of it had to do with culture, and it had to do with, I think things had just gotten stagnant, and they had kind of come to a standstill, and they weren't moving forward. And decisions that needed to be made weren't necessarily being made, and they weren't asking for staffing. There hadn't been anybody added to the sheriff's office since 2018. I went into my first budget meeting on the third day in office, and I asked for 18 people, which is just scratching the surface of what I think we need to get us where we should be. The county commission ultimately approved 9 of those positions for this fiscal year and told me to come back about this time and they would readdress the additional 9 once they knew what the fund balance was. And I'm happy to say last Monday night, the commission approved that additional 9 people. So in my first 10 months, we've added 18 people that have helped me to restructure, reorganize this sheriff's office to put the people in the positions and the responsibilities they're in into buckets, if you will, that allow them to be more efficient at doing their job, that give them more accountability across a wider span than the old traditional way of just going up through one person to the sheriff. And so immediately, I recognize that we need to expand that organization to 4 deputy chiefs. And so that became, I sent the shot that was heard around the world yesterday. I sent out the email to all my staff and informed them of this new organizational structure and named my 4 deputy chiefs. And I thought it was important that I bridge the past with the future. When I came into office, I didn't clean house. I didn't get rid of my competitors. The guy I ran with was the chief deputy. He wanted to make it to September to complete his tenure there so he could retire. I allowed him to do that. The other guy that ran against me is a detective. Coached him in Little League Baseball. We're good friends. I mean, it's just, you know, we're all on the same team. But, you know, it would have been permissible for me to come in there and clean house and start all over again. And I just didn't think that was right. You know, you got a lot of institutional knowledge in there. And I thought it was important going forward that I'm afforded the opportunity to bring in some people that I know that I can count on and trust and bridge them with some people that are already there who I had relationships with, but didn't really, you know them to the extent that I knew folks that I worked more closely with throughout my whole career. So I'll touch on the command staff in a minute, but just to give you some numbers here, we have a total of 212 sworn positions. Okay, sworn means certified deputies. All right. I have 26 civilians on the sheriff's side. I have 79 detention deputies. Those are what you would typically call jailers. And we call them detention deputies. Now, they're not post-certified. 3 of those deputies are post-certified, but they're TCI certified. That's their certification process. And our feeder, recruitment feeder program is basically from our jail. So people go to the jail, and then they come up to the patrol side And then we shift them around and move them and promote them to other assignments throughout the organization. I have 24 civilians on the detention side for a total, like I said, of 341 people. And out of those 341, we're only down 17 positions right now. It's truly remarkable. I wanted to give you an idea of our budget numbers. I'm up to about 10 minutes to go here, and I'm trying to cover as much stuff as I can as quickly as I can. Here's some numbers as it relates to the budget. The sheriff's budget is approximately $23 million. We have a budget line for crossing guards of $360,000. If anyone has a desire or knows of anyone that would like to be a crossing guard, we are those folks. They're part-time. Okay, so I don't include those in my staff number. They're part-time positions and they're woefully underpaid. Unfortunately, we had a gentleman who has been a crossing guard for more than 10 years, and he passed away, and his visitation is today. So that's a position that we're constantly trying to fill, and unfortunately, many schools just go without a crossing because we don't have anybody to fill a part-time position. Detention, my jail budget is $11,400,000. We have a litter grant of $238,000, and Patrick, I believe, our litter crew is heading with the Harvard River cleanup. We haven't passed and will be there again. So they do a wonderful job. And then we obviously have the drug fund and our asset fixing money. But our total operational budget is somewhere north of $35 million. Okay, that's just the operating budget. So just to give you an idea of what that looks like from a money standpoint. And population projections, the last numbers I had for Williamson County are somewhere around 283,000. It's probably higher than that. This is based on old census numbers. And then what we don't know, and what I haven't taken the time to do is, back out the population of the municipalities to see how many people actually live in the unincorporated area. Run through a couple of slides up there if you don't mind. So yeah, so one thing that I did to begin changing this culture, because I'm walking into an organization, a large organization, where people know me, but they don't really know me. And they're not going to just give you their trust blind, right? And it's a process. It's a long process. I don't trust them either. I go in there with my back against the wall. I don't know who's with me and who's against me, and I sure am not going to believe it just because they say it. All right. So that takes time. And I believe the way you start breaking through that barrier is through transparency. Transparency through communication. And so one of the first things I did is I started a weekly report out. And on the very first Friday that I completed, I think I went to work on a Tuesday. On the first Friday, I started a weekly report out. And I tell the entire staff everything that I do for the week. Bullet point. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And I send that out every Friday. They love it. They eat it up because they don't know. They feel like in some cases they're on an island. I've got over 60 schools, over, can't remember exactly, actually got it, the number of SRO, school resource officers I have. I have 81 school resource officers. And these people are out in the school by themselves all day long. And so they feel disconnected and they don't have any communication. So I started, it's just simple, a Zoom meeting. Once a month, we have a Zoom meeting with those folks. So they have communication with the sheriffs. Ask questions, talk about what we're doing, pushing out information. So letting them know how transparent we are. No secrets. And I immediately set up a Calendly account, which is a scheduling application, free scheduling application And I let people get on my schedule to come meet with me one-on-one for 45 minutes at a time. And about 2/3 of my people have taken me up on that. Rest of them, they don't have nothing to do with that. So the people that wanted to meet, talk to the sheriff, get to know each other, talk about their ideas, talk about their plans, talk about their vision, come on. And that's been tremendously well received. Also started a monthly report that consists of these stats that he's showing up here on the screen that you can't see. Basically, yeah, I can see it right up here, but you can't see it. But it's about a 12-page report. And it reports out every division, every month, and what we did within those divisions. And I push it out to the whole organization so that they know what everybody else is doing. Because they're kind of siloed in their own division, right? They don't know what SROs don't know what court services are doing. Warrants doesn't know, what CID's doing. K9. We got all of these divisions, right? And so that helps them understand. And then I pushed it out to the commissioners, which they had never received before. I have 24 commissioners, unlike Brookwood, where we had 7. Now I've got 24 personalities that I've got to deal with and answer to. It's different. It's totally different. But transparency through communication. Okay. And then the other thing is building trust through fairness and consistency over time. That doesn't happen in a week, doesn't happen in a month, but in 10 months, I've built a lot more trust within that organization than the day I walked in, because I've set a new standard for fairness and consistency that give everybody in that organization hope. So transparency through communication, fairness and consistency builds trust, and you throw hope in there, and now what have you done? You've improved morale. And people say, during the campaign, well, what are you going to do to change the culture? How are you going to fix it? It's not one thing. It's not one tangible thing you can put your finger on. It's everything coming together, but it starts with those things. And it works. It's proven. It's working again. If you see any of my deputies on the street and you ask them unsolicited how things are going, I think I know the answer you're going to get, because people tell me. And that's wonderful. And I tell them, if you like what you're seeing and you like the way things are headed, there's more coming. So hang on. We're just getting started. Let's run up to the org chart there, if you don't mind, and we'll stop for questions. I'm like, back up again, back up. You went a little too far, a little bit more. One more. No. One more. Right there. Okay. So these are the organizational structures that I created. Didn't look anything like this. People were disjointed. They were spread out across the organization where they didn't necessarily belong or have efficiencies. And so these are the people that report directly to me. And I'm just going to point it out over to you. Training reports directly to me. And we restructured the whole training program. I brought in an FTO coordinator, retired from Metro, ran their academy for a long time. We had to go back to square one on our training program. Okay. Got to have consistency in training. If we don't get training right, nothing else matters. That's the most important. FTOs. Made them all sign up again, made them all go through the process. We're all going through the same training. Consistency with training. Got to get that right. PIO reports directly to me. I got an admin assistant, wonderful lady named Vicki Pettinger, and quartermaster reports to her. IT reports directly to me, and then financial administration reports directly to me. Next. This is the patrol, SRO, and traffic division. And obviously everybody's reporting up to me, but now I have a deputy chief. Matt Gilfan is the deputy chief over this division. He has two captains, an administrative captain and a captain that is kind of in your face frontline patrol. Have 4 lieutenants. We run an Alpha Bravo Delta, Charlie Delta shift, and 4 sergeants under them. I have a traffic division. We have motor guys. We currently have, a lieutenant and 5 people on that team. And I have my SRO division. I have 2 lieutenants under the captain, and I have 6 sergeants, and they each have about 10 schools apiece under them. All right. And then we put crossing guards under those sergeants. Next. CID, narcotics, K9 records, backgrounds, IA. All of these are going to fall under Joey Kimball, who is my newly appointed deputy chief and my second in command. I have to designate him. I'm not required to have a chief deputy. We've got 4 deputy chiefs, but by law, you have to name somebody or designate somebody as second in command. That's Joey Kimball. Backgrounds and IA will report directly to him. Then I have my criminal investigations division, which includes a digital forensics specialist, a crime analysis, lieutenants and detectives. Have my records division, my evidence division, and my narcotics, K9, and records division. And I'm truly amazed at how many drug operations. I mean, we're averaging a drug operation a day. Crazy. The drugs they're taking off the street out there. It's amazing. All right, next. This is detention court services and warrants. Freddie Moore is going to be the deputy chief over that division. My jail administrator, Carol Esteban, is reports directly to him. I've got a captain over the jailers. I've got court services. I've got my warrants folks, and I divided that into criminal and civil. So we have criminal warrants for people that are, we have arrest warrants for, and then the civil process like subpoenas and those sorts of things. And let's see, the next one is just,
Sorry.
That's a detailed breakdown of the jail. I won't go into that. And then the final one is special operations. And Deputy Chief Rodney King oversees that. I have a chief pilot, Keith Chapman, and I have a Lieutenant Justin Long under him, also a pilot. And they are over special teams. This is Swiftwater, SWAT, anything that's considered a special teams. I have the fleet. Up until about a month ago, I didn't have anybody to tell me how many vehicles we had on the glacier. We had to literally start an inventory program. I mean, it's just things that we'll fix. We'll figure it out. So got that under control now. All right, because we've got hundreds of vehicles. And there was no retention plan. There was no retention plan in place. And Jay, where are you at? I know you're here. Back here, sir, tell you. He left. So I'm using some things that I learned from Brentwood. Okay. Patrick Pastel is a pilot, and then special events. We have our big special events with the Renaissance Fair, the rodeo, Franklin Rodeo, the Williamson County Fair, the Leadership Parade, Franklin Parade. I'm a parade expert. I was in every one of them. You know, I just feel like I'm on display out there or something. Okay, so that's our new organizational structure. I could stand up here and just ramble on forever, but we're out of time. I want to give y'all an opportunity to ask some questions. I do want to tell you, the Franklin Rotary Club has been lobbying me to come over, and I'm like, I'm a card carrying member around here. Well, I'll come visit. I said, I'll come visit. I don't remember. So, yes, makeup.
Could you just comment on crime, what you see it trending, and then the influence of like the open border in Williamson County?
So, unfortunately, people don't get your news sources from unverified social media. You wouldn't believe the people that call me, text me, email me about things they read on social media that they believe to be true. Serial killer, Little Lucy Frank. I did last week, serial killer, stabbing women, and this is something that's going around all over the country, but it's just not true. You know, trust the verified news sources. Call us. Go to our social media sites. Go to our website, and we will give you the truth about what's really happening from a crime standpoint. This monthly report that I showed breaks down every crime monthly and shows you the increase or decrease month to month, crime by crime. People say Venezuelans, we got Venezuelans here, Venezuelan gangs. I can tell you, we have 4 of those people locked up in our jail, and we've got detention holding them through ICE. We had an armed robbery at Sonic in Gresham, and it was somebody of Hispanic descent. I don't know if they're gang related or not. We haven't made that case. We don't have a break in that case. So, could it be possible? It's property crimes primarily with Kip. So, shout out to Kip. Kip came and met with me about a jail program. And so that's one of the ways we partner with our community, with our members of the community. Kudos to you, Kip, for doing that. It's really successful. Tim, back here in the back.
You got some factual things to say. I don't need to hear for free.
Said I couldn't eat. I didn't RSVP.
Control the unincorporated.
We answer the calls in the unincorporated areas. We have current jurisdiction everywhere in the county.
Have to be proactive.
Yes, absolutely. So I want to deploy our resources in a proactive manner, and I want it to be based on data-driven policing. All right, we're getting there. We've been probably more reactive. I want to get proactive. I want to get ahead of the trend, and so everything in due time. That's what we're working for. Hey, Lee.
What's the drug of choice now?
Fentanyl, laced, whatever it is. I mean, fentanyl, we're opioids in general. Narcan, we're bringing people back far too often that are overdosing on drugs. Good to see Paul Kowarski here. He can tell you a little story. He's got a good personal story. An incident that happened in Brentwood that y'all may have heard about, but that's one of the more interesting things that you could ever hope to find yourself in the middle of as it relates to drugs. Not Paul wasn't on drugs. Don't get me wrong. Long story short, somebody on drugs running down the street from our police runs into his house. Oh, and he helps our police officer subdue him. So it was a big deal back in the day.
My kid asks 3 times a night.
Yes, sir.
How comfortable are you with school security? What are the things going on? Actions are being taken to improve that.
We probably deal with 1 to 5 school threats a week. Kids. And most, they're all, they turn out to be nothing, but we have to investigate. The most serious one recently was a kid in Fairview, 17-year-old, that took a gun on a bus. And I don't think he was intending to be an active shooter, but he was in possession of a gun on a school bus. And we arrested him, collected the gun, and he's still over here locked up. Last I checked. So school threats are prevalent. We have to look into each and every one of them. We work closely with the street folks, the school system, Mike Fletcher, Shelby Glass, and it takes a lot of resources to look into all of them. We meet once a week, and we have the director. We have not the director, but we have an investigator with Homeland Security. We bring in all of the stakeholders once a week just to talk about school threats. Once a week, every Wednesday.
What's occupancy rate in the jail? Is it full?
Average daily population is around 340, and if you could have seen these numbers, you can see that fluctuates. It goes up, it comes down, but we say the average daily population is somewhere, I'd say between 300 and 350. So no, we're not full, but at times we're close to 80%, and under the regulations that the best practices are set forward by PCI, you never want to be more than 80% at full capacity, because you can't be full, because you got to segregate these people. You got to separate the mentally ill. You got to separate the men and the women. You can't put juveniles in there, obviously. So there's all these regulations. So you can never be at full capacity. 80% is the best you should ever be.
You think 570 is going to be enough?
570, I'm comfortable because I looked at the numbers that these experts ran for us. They projected these numbers out for years into the future. And they did this about 5 years ago. And the numbers they projected for today are spot on. So it gives me some level of comfort that their projections are valid. So we'll see. One more question.
The holidays are always tough for this, but as a hotelier here in Brentwood, we are seeing that car break-ins seem to be at an all-time high and always in like groupings of 10, 20 plus cars at a time. What can we do as business owners or hoteliers to be proactive about that? Can we call? Can we request a drive-by? It's not even happening at 2, 3 anymore. It's happening in broad daylight, right in front of our night auditors.
And unfortunately, we sound like a broken record because we preach this all the time. We are our own worst enemies. We make ourselves easy victims. We leave our valuables in the car. We leave our vehicles unlocked. They're looking for guns. They'll go through your whole car. They can find guns. They're probably going to rummage through it and leave. Okay. But it sounds so simple, but do not leave your valuables in plain view. Do not leave don't just stick your gun under the seat. You can have a locking mechanism in there. You got trunk release. If they break the window, they hit the trunk release, get in your trunk. You got to do whatever it takes to not make yourself an easy target. Now, that's easier said than done, right? And we're in a fluent community, and so I call that a target-rich environment. And people seek us out. People will come here from out of state. Target, Brentwood, Williamson County, Tennessee. It's just a fact. And that's the call of who we are and the affluent community we live in.
But is that something we can do is tell our night auditors, here's the non-emergent line, feel free to call it if you feel unsafe and have them come drive by?
Yes, yes. And we've deployed a lot of things over the years, license plate recognition cameras. To the extent that you can put cameras on your own property, to capture these people that are breaking into cars and stuff. We call a lot of people through license plate recognition cameras as one tool that we use. Thanks, great clear by
Last few things. Thank you guys for coming. We really appreciate it. Police officers, deputies, thank you for your service. We really appreciate that too. We don't have to put any chairs up, which is nice. Awesome. If there's not anything for good Rotary, we are adjourned.